Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new video. As usual, I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Matty, Hunter, Brian, and Rafe. And today's topic is the 2020 best 11 in world football. And this is stats from the 1920 and 2021 season. And collectively, we've decided to come together with our own different teams, and we're going to argue our points for them. Now, starting off today will be Rafe with his choice for goalkeeper.
Hello everyone, so as Spike said, we're going to be doing our team of the year, and we're doing it in that 4-3-3 system. So I'm going to be starting with the goalie, and my personal choice is Manuel Neuer. Obviously, he won the treble with Bayern in the 1920 season, and he was an integral part to that team, playing pretty much every game, and he commanded that back line impeccably, and I think he was one of their key reasons for winning the treble, because he just gives the whole team confidence, in my opinion. So going to move on to Brian now, who, if he has anything to say, or anyone has agree with me on that.
Yeah, hi guys. I decided to go with Jan Oblak in goal instead of Neuer, because I don't know, he's been so integral to Atletico Madrid, in my opinion, being the best goal in world football for like the past 3 or 4 years without a thing. And he's just been integral to Atletico Madrid's style of play. You see how they play. They play so deep and compact with 11 clean sheets and an 85 save percentage last season. I mean, this season, so. You know, again, this season's just proven why he's so crucial to Atletico Madrid. I think they got knocked out of the third round of Copa del Rey. I don't think Jan Oblak played. Of course, you could argue that maybe if he played, it might have not made a difference. But he is crucial to that Atletico team, and he would start for pretty much every team in world football, almost without a doubt. And last season,
I completely agree.
Amazing.
I purely went for Neuer. I agree with you. I went for Neuer because of the trophies, and I think that gives him a slight advantage over Oblak, in my opinion.
I think also when you talk about Neuer, I mean, he was 1920 goalkeeper of the season. You know what I mean? And to win that, it kind of can put him on that pedestal.
I completely agree with Oblak. I think if Oblak was in that Bayern Munich team, he probably would have won it. But I think you have to take trophies into account with these things. Excellent goalies.
I was going to point out the fact that Atletico, when they lost in the Copa del Rey, Oblak was not starting; it was the backup keeper.
Oh, so
of course, that probably could have made the difference, but you never know. You can't judge off that. But does anyone else have any other suggestions or any more points on the goalie?
Hunter, who have you got in goal?
No, I absolutely agree with Rafe on this one. Manuel Neuer, number one for me. He's won the treble. He captained Bayern into another treble. 50 starts, considering the 2 seasons we have taken into account, and I think 27 clean sheets, which was absolutely brilliant from him. So yeah, he gets the nod ahead.
I do agree.
At one point,
that Neuer has been brilliant. He's won the treble. Trophy speaks for himself. He's captains, and I would be perfectly fine with Neuer. I was very close to having Neuer. In fact, I had him in at one point. But for Oblak, the reason he edges it for me is he's got Atletico Madrid top of the La Liga above Real and Barca. He's conceded 7 goals in 17 games this season, and last season he conceded 27 in 38, which is just stupid stats for me. Neuer is really good and deserves a shout out though.
Yeah, well, I think you have to on clean sheets. I think you have to take these systems into account as well, because obviously Bayern's defense plays such a high line, so obviously Neuer has to be involved more than Oblak, in my opinion, and he's impeccable at coming off this line. Probably he is the best sweepkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
So.
I do agree with that.
I agree, and we know that Atleti sides under Diego Simeone are such a defensive brick wall.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
I also want to point out the stat that in the last 5 games, Atletico Madrid have faced 45 shots and only one of them's gone in.
Yeah, Oblak is superb, but so in our collective team of the year, we're all voting to put in Oblak or Neuer.
We've got 2-2 so far, so it's down to Spike.
Yeah. Well, it's down to my decision, and I went with Manuel Neuer.
Neuer.
that great season he had, won the treble and won the goalkeeper of the year, for me, that kind of does add to it. I think, yeah, you can say his defence and the team winning some trophies could let him maybe push him up more to win goalkeeper of the year, but he, at times, especially me watching Bayern, I watched Bayern's route all the way through, and they were just impeccable, and he was a part of that. So for me, I'm all no.
Fair enough, agreed. So now we move on to right back. Ray, if you start us off.
Does anyone want to? Do you want me to kick off? Okay, so I went with a slightly. Obviously, Trent is probably the obvious pick, but I don't think he's been anywhere near up to scratch this season. So I actually went with maybe one that was outside. I went with Hakimi from Inter Milan. I think at Dortmund last season, he was obviously when people started noticing him more towards the end of the season, him and how good him and Aguero were going forward, and how well they suit that wing back role. Obviously, this season he moved to Inter Milan from Real Madrid for what I thought was a bargain price, only around 40, 50 million euros, and he's been superb again. He's been playing in the more attacking role, maybe as more of a right mid than a wing back, but he maybe not the best at defending compared to other players, but 69 tackle success percentage isn't bad, but like his main quality is going forward. And like this season, he's made 12 starts, so about 1,200 minutes, and he's got 6 goals and 3 assists, which is just highlights his qualities of how under a Conte team as well, he don't always play attacking, free-flowing football. I think he's just impeccable, and that's why I put him in my team.
I do agree. Hakimi is a very good choice, and I think you pointed out some really good facts there. Personally, I had for a while. So this is going to be my honourable mention. Who could have been right back first? I had Carvajal, because he's just so really consistent over for Real Madrid. He's still one of the consistent performers.
I think his injuries come in there and bite him.
Which the reason I have removed Carvajal from my team though is because I've got Kimmich right back, and I know he's not primarily a right back, but he is brilliant when he plays there. And I couldn't fit him in the midfield, and I had to fit him in the team, so I've got Kimmich right back.
I completely agree with Matty on this one. Although Joshua Kimmich's tackling percentage stats aren't, as comparable as to Hakimi or Trent, but he has made such an impact on that Bayern team. He's got a great. When he goes forward, he almost has expected assist of 9 this season, which is very good for the position he plays in. And I kind of really agree that.
Completely agree. Kimmich should be in the team, but I'm not sure if he should be in the right back role.
Yeah.
I think he's a much better. I think he's much more suited to playing in a defensive midfielder.
You mentioned Trent earlier. I agree. Last season, Trent was the best right back in the world. He was brilliant. He provided about 17 assists. I might have that wrong, but it's around that number. It was insane. But the point is, this is the team of 2020, and since August, he's been nowhere near up to the mark. So that's the only reason Trent doesn't get in for me.
Well,
yeah,
personally, I still put Trent in my team. I just feel like, pretty much since August he's been pretty poor, but I don't know. I just feel like it was pretty much justified just because of last season. Really, I think you couldn't really doubt the guy. He's still his tackle success rate. It's almost on the same level as Hakimi's. It's not terrible. It's not great, but we all know Trent's best attribute is going forward, and this season he hasn't been able to go forward as much because of Liverpool's injuries. So, you haven't been able to see what he can do. Hence why I still kept him in, because I know if Liverpool didn't have these injuries, he'd be able to still go up as much, and Liverpool wouldn't be maybe as inconsistent.
But my argument for Trent is when he has gone forward this season, he just hasn't, like against Burnley the other day. I think he attempted around 20 crosses and not a single one connected with a player. Like
from August,
I know that's not always his fault, but surely out of 20 crosses, at least one's going to be successful.
And from August, that's
luckily
most of
that's
the year.
2021 and not 2020.
Yeah, but
I know what you
from
mean,
August
but,
onwards, that's most of the year. And again, like most games he's played in 2020 in the second half of the year have been terrible, and you have to consistently perform throughout the year to get in this team, which is why I haven't got him. So now it's on to you, Spike. Who have you got right back?
So I went with again Trent. I think he's been poor since August, but before that it was best right back in the world. Best right back in the world. He's had poor games, and I'm not saying he hasn't, but I think he justifies it when he wins such as like Young Player of the Year. And to be fair, his tackle possession rate is still 70. So he's still he's still not bad defensively. I think at times he has looked vulnerable, but he's 21 compared to Carvajal, who's much older, compared to someone like Carvajal, who's a bit older. So for me, it was Trent.
I see why you two went for Trent, but I feel like to get in this team, you have to be not maybe consistently good, but at least show your qualities throughout the year. And I only think Trent, I think Van Dijk getting injured has highlighted how poor he is defensively at the current time.
But
I want to
he's
say
not
Trent
terrible
was
defensively. That's the thing. He's not very.
No, but
poor defensively.
if you watch him, he may his tackle when he goes in for a tackle, his percentage rate isn't horrible. But I think he just we saw against Southampton, he just doesn't look comfortable defending compared to other. I don't know.
All right.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll leave that one for now because we need to swiftly move on. So we've got some good shells. Trent, Hakimi, Kimmich, some good players in there, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Now we'll go for the two centre backs.
I think we all have to agree on one centre back, and that's Ramos.
Yeah.
I think
Can we all just agree with Ramos?
Actually, while we're saying that, are we not all agreeing on the other centre back, David Alaba, this year?
I do not.
No.
I did not actually put.
I did go with Alaba.
I went with Virgil.
I think my point for picking Alaba was you look at that Bayern Munich team last year, and he was partnered with Jerome Boateng, who obviously used to be he still had a really good season, Boateng, but because Bayern plays such a high line, he often gets caught out.
Yeah.
And I think Alaba just completely made up for it, and at times he was just, I don't know, you look at him and he kind of dropped off the radar for a few years.
Yeah.
He used to be one of the world's best left back, and then no one really was debating him, and they moved him to centre back. And I think he was key to Bayern Munich last season. Him and Neuer were in the defensive side, I think, of their team, they were key. Because obviously, not even Pavard. Pavard's quite slow as well, compared to normal right. So he got caught. I think Alaba just made up for it.
Yeah,
with his
that's
pace.
true. I'm gonna say
Obviously, he got moved to Real Madrid now.
Who I've got. I think I'm the only person with this centre back, but I have got stats to back him. I've got Thiago Silva in my other centre back role. He captained his team to a Champions League final. He's got a 98% pass completion rate this year, and he's got a 96% long pass completion rate, which is just insane. He has overall throughout the year, he's got a 90% tackle completion rate, which is also just insane. And he's been consistently good throughout the year. I also give a shout out to Van Dijk, and I also want to say for Ramos, yes, we've all agreed on him. He's been brilliant. Last season, he also, not the defender's job, but he captained Real Madrid to the La Liga, and he got 11th top scorer in the league from centre back.
Yeah.
My only problem with Thiago Silva is I think he gets caught out. This season, he's only attempted 17 tackles. And even out of that, he's only got around a 70% tackle success rate. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's fair
I
enough.
agree. I can see your reasoning why you put Silva, because he's such a massive point.
I also want to say
he's the key to the PSG team last season, because he commanded that back line.
This is a point though. If I know someone said Van Dijk and 2 people said Trent. If Trent and Van Dijk are in there, surely Thiago Silva is, because they've had bad second half of the years. Thiago Silva's had average, but they both had quality first half.
Van Dijk hasn't had a bad second half. He just got a horrible injury, and before that, he conceded 7 to Aston Villa. But let's be honest, that wasn't a 7-2 game. There was 2 deflections, and Adrian had a horrible game.
I still put Virgil van Dijk in my best 11.
I was close to picking. For me, it was between Van Dijk and Alaba.
Mine was
Alaba
between
edged
Van
it for me.
Dijk and Thiago Silva. I ended up putting Thiago Silva in just because he's played for the whole year and he's been.
I see why you
So,
put Silva. I
Yeah.
think we got some
Well, I
valid
would
points.
disagree
there.
that Thiago Silva has been better for the whole year. I do agree with the part after Van Dijk's injury and that 7-2 defeat from Villa, but before that, as a City fan, it's absolutely he was unplayable at times. Liverpool side looked defensively solid because of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Right.
No,
Van
he
Dijk's
is
So
part for me.
Van Dijk is crucial to that Liverpool team.
he is,
Like we
yeah,
saw this
and
season, they've been.
we noticed that now because Liverpool aren't anywhere. They're just like nowhere near as good as they were last season. Van Dijk's probably one of the main reasons behind that. Yes, they're not scoring goals, but they're also conceding a lot less than they did last year.
Yeah, it's because Van Dijk allows Van Dijk and Gomez, well, mainly like allow Trent and Robertson to actually go
Exactly.
forward more.
Yeah, as
so-
as weird as it is to say, the centre backs are a crucial part of Liverpool scoring goals.
I think Fabinho does need to be shouted out in a certain way though, because
He
he's
does,
moved
yeah.
to that centre. He's moved to that centre back position and he's been almost like. I'm
He's
not saying
been-
he's
he's
the same
been
level
very
as Van
good.
Dijk, but he's nowhere near the same level as Van Dijk in that position.
He's
But it's
filled in
like
quite
he's filled in
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah,
Spike, who do you have? And then we'll move on. So, by the way, I've put Ramos in. We just need to decide on the other one.
So yeah, Ramos and Alaba. I think again, Alaba at times, Boateng, he did not look brilliant defensively, and Alaba had to clear up the lines a lot. He had to, clear up mistakes that were made. Alaba proved, and especially since he's going to Real Madrid, that he's one of, if not the best centre half in the world. Because
Yeah, he was
Alaba-
wanted by every single club.
I
but,
agree
like,
for Alaba.
ultimately-
No,
Yeah.
like obviously, my personal opinion is Thiago Silva, but I'm happy enough to put Alaba in there. So we've
Is everyone
got
else happy on Alaba?
yeah.
yeah, I think so.
So back to we've got Ramos and Alaba. Let's move on to left back now. We'll start with Spike this time.
For left back, I went with the young Canadian, Alphonso Davies.
Yeah,
He
Yep.
just looked at times like he was unbelievable. He could get up the pitch, he could get back the pitch in lightning speed. He
Yeah.
could assist well. He was he was a crucial part to that team. And when they played without him, they didn't look as good at times last season.
Yeah.
I don't know, this season is kind of hit a brick wall at times. He's not necessarily looked as useful.
You have to take into account he's been injured for
yeah.
Yeah, he's been
A lot of
part of
time.
this season as well.
I want
I
to
did-
say as well. I'm sure someone might have some offensive stats because that's what Davies is known for the most. But I've got some defensive stats from here. Last season, Davies had an 80% tackle success rate and a 90% pass completion, and this season he's got a 79% tackle success and an 87% pass completion. So even though he's known brilliantly for his really good work going forward, he's also amazing defensively.
Yeah,
I
and his
think,
interception stat also backs that up. It's more than most of the left backs that were in contention. 34.
So we're just gonna swiftly move on and agree with Davies left back.
I think
yeah.
Robertson did
I
push
think-
him very close.
I
there.
know,
think
I
it's
had
a
Robertson
personal
in at
preference.
first.
Very good,
I did have
but-
Robertson in originally, but then I just looked at some defensive stats and then I had to change it.
I think.
I mean, if I
for
could,
all
I would put Robertson over Trent. But I think because we're sticking to the not, I just think Robertson, he's just constantly consistent. He's
Yeah.
great going
Yeah.
forward, good defensively. I don't know. I think Davis just edges it because obviously the silverware he won and just how well he fit into that team at his age.
Exactly.
And no one was
Yeah.
expecting that before the season.
So
Like you expect this from Robertson now, but yeah, I think Davis.
yeah, well, we've got Davies in for now, but Robertson has done really well this year. Move on to midfield now. Now we've got three midfield players. Obviously, me and Hunter said Kimmich at right back. I'm assuming any of you have got an argument for Kimmich at centre mid?
I did pick him at
Yeah,
the
I
centre
think-
mid.
I
yeah.
know. Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think
because it was
personally-
his predominant position throughout Bayern's
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, now
but
I want to make the
that's
point. The reason I didn't put Kimmich centre mid is because of my midfield three. I'm just going to read them all out now. I've got Fernandes, Muller, and De Bruyne in my midfield.
That's
I've got-
exactly mine.
Yeah, right.
That is
I'm going to go
exactly
straight to
mine.
Muller because he's probably the most arguable one there. Last season, he got 29 goals and assists, and so far this season, in 16 games, he's got 16 goals and assists. He's so underrated, one of the most underrated players in the world, in my opinion. He was a huge part of that team last year. And
Yeah.
I think
He
without
did come
Muller,
second in the.
Lewandowski wouldn't get anywhere near as much goals. I think he's so vital in that Bayern team. That's why I've got Muller in there.
I do agree.
can I
Muller
just say
was
something?
my fourth choice, but I just thought you couldn't pick Kimmich at right back. I just don't. I know he played there in some games, but I think his outstanding performances have been from the midfield role, and I think Kimmich edges it over Muller purely. I don't know. I think Kimmich is just. I think he's the best holding midfielder in the world
Yeah.
at current.
Can I just
Right, Brian.
add something to that? I personally think, Matty, your midfield three wouldn't actually work. Personally, I just didn't see how Miller, Fernandez, and
No,
De Bruyne
it's
all-
not. It's
would
not
all
like
actually
it's.
fit
That's
your
not the point.
midfield.
That's not
not
the point
like
we're
It's,
going
it's not
for.
the
though.
point. It's not a starting
Yeah.
11. It's just pick three
the
midfielders who's
best.
been best.
Yeah.
It's not meant to work in a
Well
team.
then,
Thomas
do agree
Muller
with your
did come
midfield.
second
I still went
in
with
the UEFA
Kimmich in
midfielder
midfield.
of the year behind
I-
Kevin De Bruyne, so
I
that's why
will-
he
I will-
easily walks into that
I
midfield
will-
for me.
I will say this, right? And I made a very different approach for my team because I actually went for Kimmich, De Bruyne, and Leon Goretzka. Now, you
Yeah,
can
he's
talk
my honourable shout.
about Kimmich and De Bruyne, but Goretzka is a workhorse, and yeah, he
Yeah.
may not get the best stats game in game out, like goals and assists game in game out, but as an overall, he's ridiculous, and what he does for that team, he's one of the crucial integral parts of that team. To that
I do
point.
agree with
I do
you
agree,
on
yeah.
Goretzka.
Completely agree.
I agree how good Goretzka has been, but I don't think you can drop.
I just think some
Bruno
midfielders
from that
this
team.
year have been that good. They get in. Also, I want to quickly, just so we can add them into the team. Can we all agree De Bruyne is in there?
Yep.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't put the
You didn't put De Bruyne.
To be
You
fair,
didn't put De Bruyne.
I decided
I
to
didn't
do
have De
it.
Bruyne at first.
Let
I
me just
did.
read out my midfield three. I'll justify it in 2 seconds. I put a midfield three of Kimmich, Müller, and Bruno Fernandes.
That's
I was
what I
gonna
had.
actually put De Bruyne, so he's my honourable mention. But Bruno Fernandes, the impact he's had on Manchester
Yeah.
United, whether you like it or not, it's been unbelievable.
No, that's
Yeah,
honestly
I
right.
agree.
That is what I had. I had.
He is in my team of the year.
That's why
He
I
is.
had Carvajal at right back. I had in the mid before. I had Kimmich, Bruno, and Muller. But I had to put De Bruyne in, so that's why I forced Kimmich to right back.
Can we all
I think the only
recognize
reason I
how
could-
good Thiago was for Bayern?
Yeah,
I
second
was
half of the year
debating
though,
Thiago.
he doesn't get in for me.
But I
so-
think since he's moved to
Yeah,
Liverpool, he
Yeah,
obviously
it's
he
the
when
COVID
he's
stuff, the injury stuff, it's let him down.
when he has played, he's been superb for Liverpool. But I just don't. I don't
Yeah,
think
he gets an honourable mention for me.
Yeah,
and then
I don't-
Goretzka.
Yeah,
Right. So let's have a vote for the second midfielder, Bruno Fernandes.
I think Bruno has to be in
He
it. I
has
mean,
to.
he's got
Kevin for me.
33 goal contributions in 32 games.
And then if we look at
In
just this
32
season,
starts, so
since halfway through the year, he's got 11 goals and 7 assists already this season in 17 games. He's fourth top scorer in the league, and he's nearly up there with the assists as well.
Well, if you count his sporting stats as well, then in 50 appearances, he's got 27 goals and 21 assists, which is by far.
So, right, Bruno's
Player
in there.
of
So we've
every
got Bruno
other
and De
midfielder we
Bruyne.
have.
Who's the third midfielder?
Yeah.
Is it Muller or is it
It's
Kimmich?
Thomas. It's Thomas for me.
Yeah, I could sit there and say Thomas Müller.
Just Muller's
well, I
record for last
personally,
season.
if we're gonna put Kimmich at right back, I completely agree on Miller. But
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I'd change to Kimmich right back to put Muller in that team.
Right, we'll do that then. So we've got Kimmich right back, and we've got a midfield three of De Bruyne, Muller, and Bruno. No, sorry. Yeah, that's right. So now we move on to the front three. Can we all just Lewandowski out the way?
Lewandowski has to be
Cristiano.
there.
Lewandowski's in that team, 100%.
Right, he's out the
Right.
way. So now we'll go. Can everyone agree on
Um,
Ronaldo?
I think
Yeah.
before
I
we
put
move on,
Ronaldo.
can we argue that Robert Lewandowski was robbed of the Ballon d'Or?
Yes,
let's put it out
100%. He's been
Yes,
by far
yes,
the best
he
player
was.
in the world this year. He's got
Yeah, if
his
he-
goals have been stupid.
He's the best player in the world all season.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
completely
Robert.
agree. Lewandowski was, he
Yeah,
without
and
You
doubt.
can't make a shout for Cristiano though. In
No.
2020, he had the most goals.
Yeah, but there's
So-
a difference between, I know Ronaldo is brilliant, don't get me wrong, but Lewandowski could finish from anywhere. If you look at the Spurs game, he was scoring goals from outside the box. If you look
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
Like I haven't got many. I didn't actually get any stats for Lewandowski because it's obvious that he's in. But if I quickly
Oh,
look at the Bundesliga last season,
I'll-
in
I'll-
I'm
third,
Ronaldo. I'm Ronaldo. I think
I put
in my opinion, why Ronaldo has to be in the team is throughout the whole of this season, he's maintained an 8.48 rating.
Yeah.
info goal rating. He's got
Yeah.
15 goals and 14 appearances, which is I know some of them have been penalties, but still it doesn't
It-
matter. It's just been
Juventus have been a one-man team since Ronaldo joined.
Yeah,
I'm
and you
sorry
look
to
at
all Juve fans, but if you take Ronaldo out, I mean, start of the season when he had COVID, Juve dropped to as low as 8th, I want to say.
Yeah.
That really put them out of the title race. But they're coming back because Cristiano is really backpacking.
I also want to point out with
Just
Lewandowski, the reason he's, I think, the 100% reason he's the best player in the world is because in the Bundesliga last year, 34 games, 34 goals, and only 5 penalty goals as well. And then if we go to this season, in
22.
17 games, he's got 22 goals, which is just a stupid amount.
It's just
And,
ridiculous.
and he's been getting assists on top as well.
He has, yeah.
He's
So-
got 9 assists in the last 2 seasons,
Yeah.
which is more than Cristiano, but
Good for a striker.
you know, for a striker that is very good.
So right, let's move on to the last forward position. Now, I'm gonna start with a very controversial one. I've got Neymar.
I wouldn't actually completely disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm not
Neymar's
gonna
my
dis-
honourable mention.
he is one of my honourable mentions. So,
Yeah.
but my
Because
right
Neymar-
wing is
I'm gonna be honest, Neymar, but like from that running, because France cancelled their league season. Of course, we didn't get to see a lot of Neymar in the first half of the season. But that Champions, like if you watched PSG during the Champions League, Neymar was pretty much unplayable in almost every single game. Maybe not the UCL final because I don't know. He just didn't.
That's
play
one
well that
game of about
But
50.
But even in
so-
that final, Neymar, I think the whole team just
Yeah.
Mbappe should have got a goal. I think
Mbappe should have.
when you look at that Champions League run, you look at Neymar, some of his misses he missed, he missed some sitters and that. But
Yeah,
even if you
but-
watch the game, you'll know he was the best player. He
good,
was the one
yeah.
creating everything. Yeah.
everything he kept everything going, especially going
Yeah, he
forward.
did.
Because PSG, they do like that creativity in midfield. So Neymar's pretty much crucial to that team. If Verratti doesn't play, then
Yeah.
Neymar's pretty much the only man creating.
Right.
for
Has
that
anyone got?
PSG? So,
Before we move on, has
For
anyone got
me-
an argument for Mbappe?
Oh,
No.
No. Right. So
No.
I'll just get
He
that
is
out
a
of the way.
brilliant youngster.
So
I did actually
he
put
isn't
Messi.
ready
I
this
did actually
season. I
put
don't
Messi.
think.
so how many?
Right, so here's-
Wait, Rafe, what have you got? You got Neymar as well.
I personally went with Erling Haaland.
Erling Haaland.
No, I went with that.
That's
It's a bit of under the
Curveball.
radar one, but obviously Haaland, he's been super since joining the Bundesliga. 30 goal contributions in 23 games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
I
you look at his
agree.
age. He's
I've got
20.
I've got honourable mentions to Haaland and Mbappe and Messi, but he has been
Well,
really good. It's just for me the impact Neymar's had in a PSG team. Like he got them to the first ever Champions League final.
personally the reason that I
Yeah.
didn't pick Messi was you look at him on the pitch at the current
Everything
time, and
Barcelona
he
do
just-
go through him.
I know your point, but he just doesn't. He's just not been trying,
Also,
and
I
that's
wanna-
what.
I don't
This
know.
season I kind of agree, but last
personally, I
season
actually
when you look at his
disagree.
Yeah.
I
stats, he
personally
was.
disagree with
I think
this,
he had
that hasn't
21
been proven.
assists last season.
It's not the
and
season though; it's the
that's
year.
like 20.
Even if you look at last season, like if you look at that loss to Bayern Munich, he just didn't try throughout the whole thing.
And that's a
No,
point
He
as
wasn't
well.
tracking back.
the
He
thing
wasn't
that
tracking
was kind
back.
of
If
pathetic
you-
performance from the whole Bayern team, for the whole Barca
But
team.
if you,
So you can't really
I'm very sure we
pinpoint
put
one
team-
person to blame.
All right, Hunter.
But you look at his stats. He's got 36 goals, 23 assists. For me, it's Messi.
The
In 50
reason,
appearances.
one of the
Yeah,
main
personally-
reasons I didn't put Messi is because, yeah, it's not. I also look at the fact Barcelona's done nothing in 2020. They've got in the Champions League, they got demolished off Bayern in an early round. They didn't win La Liga, and I just think Neymar's done a lot more for PSG, and I think he's finally been the better player. Messi's been brilliant,
Oh.
but I just think Neymar just edges it.
Who have you
yeah,
put, Brian?
personally, I still put Messi. It's
Put Messi.
it's Messi. I mean, you could argue he's not trying, but if we're talking about team situations as well, Barcelona are all over the place currently, financially, on the pitch, off the pitch, everywhere. They're almost a mess. But Messi last season, he still performed to the levels we expected of him, and I think that just goes under the radar because Barcelona got slapped silly by Bayern. But he was still brilliant last season. Still got the most goal contributions out of any forward in world football. So
He
I mean,
did.
can't
I
really
know
argue.
why you went with Messi,
I mean-
but
to the end of
Okay.
like, especially December, November, you could argue, yeah, he's been pretty poor. Especially the start of this season, like, he was really poor. But
I
the
think
rest
Messi
of
That's
the
the thing with
so.
these.
I think
Go on,
Messi sets so high standards for himself that you have to count that as a poor season. Like,
Well,
but-
he
for
did
Messi,
broke the La Liga assist record, so
obviously, no,
yeah,
it's
obviously,
not really a
obviously
really
throughout
poor
last season,
season.
last season throughout the season, right? At the start of the season, he was superb. Like throughout, up until, yeah, he had a good league campaign. I think in the Champions League, he didn't like against Bayern. I know I'm not blaming it on Messi by any means, but he just doesn't try
Yeah.
anymore.
Also, I
He
want to
doesn't
say,
work for the team. He works for himself.
you keep saying about Messi's goals and assists. If Neymar wasn't in the same team as Mbappe, if Mbappe didn't play for PSG, Neymar would have more goals and assists than Messi. But it's the fact
Well,
that Messi's the
you
only
can make
attacking
this
threat in
case
that
for a
Barca
lot
team.
of people.
No, 100. Yeah, it's
If Thomas Muller wasn't there, maybe Robert Lewandowski won't have as many
exactly,
goals
and
as
he's still got a
Kevin De
ridiculous
Bruyne
amount. That's
isn't
why he's
there.
been the best in the world. Messi has been the only decent player in Barca's team over the year, and
Griezmann has been. I mean, you
Griezmann's
can't really
been bad.
discount Luis Suarez last season because he was there and he was very good, but of course not on the level of Lewandowski.
right. Anyway, let's start. Who
Spike,
have
who have you
up front?
got? Spike,
Yeah, Spike. That's a
Who
good
did
point.
you go with? Who did you go with?
Spike.
Okay.
Well then.
Anyway.
Isaiah,
Alright,
Spike.
there he is. There he
Yeah,
is. There he
yeah,
is.
lads, don't
Alright,
worry.
go on, Spike. Who did you go with?
What in the front three?
So,
Yeah.
did you go with Ronaldo and Lewandowski?
I went with
Yeah, that's what I
Ronaldo
went
and
with.
Lewandowski.
Right.
of
So
course.
who's your
Okay,
third?
so who was your third?
Hang on. So far we've been arguing. I've got Neymar, Rafe's got Haaland, and Brian and Hunter have got Messi.
Well, I'm gonna have to join Brian and Hunter. Messi, he's just unbelievable. And again, you can go back to that game against Bayern. He was the only one on that pitch who I would say wanted to actually work
I
for his
disagree
team.
with that.
I disagree with
In
that.
that game-
2-0
In that
after
game, the
Bayern
only
got the
player
third, it was
who was
Haaland.
trying, it wasn't Messi, it was Suarez.
I don't know. I think the pair of them were trying, ish, but like Messi will give his all for his team, and yeah, he wanted to.
I don't think he will anymore. I completely agree. Before that game, I think Messi was superb, but since that game, he just doesn't look interested in fighting for his team. I'm fine with putting Messi. I'm fine with putting Messi in the team because yeah, he did. His numbers back him up. That he has still been performing to a high standard, but you watch him play, and I think his stats almost lie a bit of how good he's being. So I don't think he's been up to scratch. But
Yeah,
I'm
neither
fine
do
with putting Messi in.
Yeah, so...
I mean, the thing
we've
is, yeah, Messi's never been known for his defensive work, for like tracking back for Barcelona. When do we ever really see Messi track back for Barcelona? We rarely do.
Yeah, but
so
the difference
saying that
is-
he doesn't try, almost
The difference is
doesn't really matter.
Ronaldo. You compare him to Ronaldo, and when Ronaldo's team need him to, like, he tries his hardest every single game.
Well, yeah,
you can't
Ronaldo
really,
is
you can't really say to Messi, "Oh, why aren't you trying?" I think he has been fed up for Barcelona for a bit now, because their management has been absolutely diabolical.
Right, anyway,
But again,
on that
he
note,
has
we've
been
got 3
very
votes for Messi, 1 for Neymar, 1 for Haaland, so I think...
I'm fine with putting Messi in
Yeah.
the team. I think
We have to put Messi in, so our collective team of the year, based on votes and opinion from everyone, we've got Neuer in goal, honourable mentions to Oblak. Right back, we've got Kimmich, could be Trent, he's been brilliant. Centre backs, Ramos and Oliver, honourable mentions to Thiago Silva. Left back, we've got Davies, Robertson's been brilliant. Midfield 3, we've got Muller, De Bruyne and Bruno. And the front 3, we've got Ronaldo, Lewandowski and Messi. Shout out to Haaland and Neymar.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I think
yeah.
Gonna also pick a manager of the year, or do we not?
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
we'll
only
put
self-explanatory.
I've-
I think it's
So
very
definitely-
self-explanatory. That
Yeah, I
Hansi
think
Flick-
it has to be Hansi. I don't know
Yeah.
how Jurgen Klopp.
Does
I
anyone
don't
say...
think,
Does anyone disagree with
no.
Flick?
Has to be Hansi Flick. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be anyone else, really. I mean,
mean,
he won
he-
everything.
He
pretty
took
much,
over the
so-
team when Bayern were struggling
His winner-
and won the
He
treble.
won everything he could.
I don't think in the last season he lost a game. I want to say.
Nah.
I don't think.
I might be completely incorrect here, but
In the 1920 season, he didn't lose.
I
it.
know this season Bayern have looked really vulnerable, but they have lost some key like they lost Thiago, he was a massive player for them. And Alaba, there's been a lot of controversy about Alaba, so
yeah.
I don't know. I think but Hansi Flick without a doubt
Yeah.
has to be coach of the year.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Go on, Spike.
So that's it, everybody. List your opinion if you've got any different opinions. List them down below. It's been a pleasure to do it all with you as usual. I want to say thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you in the next video.
Get
Peace out.
those bell on, people. We need those bells.